There we go. We're live. Ooh, I can share my screen with you all. That's new. Okay. Hi. Hi, everyone. Give me a second because there is something really exciting that happened just earlier today that I really would like to share with you. While we are getting started in our live stream, I was on the cover of Sexual Health magazine that just came out, their fall 2024, and I would love to share that with you all while we're here. Anyways, while you're all joining me, thank you so much for hopping on to the live stream with me. Yeah, boy, love to see that. You all, last time I was live with you, you asked me to do more lives. And if you're on my email list, then you know that last week was a pretty exciting week for us around here, outside of the magazine cover, which is great. We launched a mini course. We launched a mini course on Nipplegasm, on nipple orgasm and breast massage. And so I thought I would come on, celebrate that course with you, and answer any questions that you may have about nipple orgasms. And maybe even share with you some stories from my personal vault of experience with them, because I think they're a huge mystery. I think a lot of people don't know that it's possible to have an orgasm through your nipples. A lot of women have never experienced a nipple orgasm before. A lot of folks give up before they actually reach nipple orgasm because they think that it's like very difficult or very complicated, and it does not have to be. I'm here to tell you, this is something that I sort of discovered accidentally, I will say, by surprise, let's call it. I didn't know that I was capable of having nipple orgasms until this one night that I will happily tell you about if you want. And ever since then, I found it to be really interesting, a really fascinating subject. I wanted to figure it out for myself because it wasn't something that I could just experience whenever I wanted to. It took me years to sort of figure out for my own body and for other women's bodies how to trigger a nipple orgasm intentionally. So if you are here, if you're live with me, say hi. Some of you you're already saying it. Say hello in the chat. Tell me where you're coming in live from. Tell me your name. And in the meantime, let me see if I can share with you my celebration. Check this out, folks. Can you see my screen? Look at, she was on the cover of Sexual Health magazine. Hey! Okay, we're getting some answers from Santa Cruz. Let's see here. There we go. Well, anyways, this is not the purpose of the live stream, but thank you. It is a nice picture. I was the centerfold in a way, I guess, because there's a 10-page spread on me. It starts at page 20. So happy to be sharing this with you folks. Let me see. I can show you. There we go. Check this out. There she is. Looking fine. Oh, thank you. Hey, if this is your first time joining me live on YouTube, please let me know that as well. We've got people from Germany, from Panama, from Minnesota, from the Philippines, from the United Kingdom, also Minnesota and Texas and Indianapolis and New York and Tampa. First time joining me live. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. Welcome. I hope that you will be very communicative. Let me know. I'm obviously reading the comments. Like, keep sending me notes. Keep sending me your comments. I'm so excited that you're here. I love being live with you all. I think this is like, what a cool thing that we get to interact in this way instead of me just like posting a video and you all consuming it and then me seeing your comments later. Like, we get to all be here together at the same time. So anyways, like I was saying, very exciting stuff going on right now. Obviously, the Sexual Health magazine, I didn't know that it was going to come out. I just started getting congratulations and notes from other sex coaches yesterday telling me that they saw the article. I'm really pleased with it. You can read the whole thing at sexualhealthmagazine.com when we're done hanging out here. I'm back. Hi. Okay, so I'm curious. Right into the comments. if you have or your partner has experienced a nipple orgasm, if you have been able to trigger one of these powerful but somewhat mysterious experiences for someone in your life. I'm seeing some folks, great question. Someone already asked, and feel free to write questions anytime. If I don't see them, feel free to write them again because there's a lot of people in the chat. Sometimes it moves very, very quickly and I'm not able to answer them, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to. So if I miss it, just send me another one, okay? A couple people are saying that they've never heard of nipple orgasms before. Someone asked me, Edward asked me, what's the distinction? How do you distinguish between a breastgasm and a nipplegasm? Well, it's really where the person who is having it feels it. So I don't know that there's actually a tremendous distinction between them from a nerve ending perspective, like what nerves are being triggered in either of those two experiences. I think that the way that we feel them may be very, very different. Just similar to like a clitoral orgasm or a G-spot orgasm or a cervical orgasm. The network of nerves is very similar in all of those instances. I guess a little bit different between the clitoral G-spot versus the cervical orgasm. The nerves are a little bit different, but it's really about where the sensation originates subjectively, where the person who's having it is feeling it. I don't know that I personally have ever had what I would consider to be a breast orgasm, but certainly a nipple orgasm. Okay, a couple of people are saying, there's some women in the chat are saying, I've not had an orgasm. Maybe the nipple orgasm will be your first one. I have by accident. Yeah, that's kind of how it happened to me. Someone said my wife can do that. I have given one, but it took a long time. I've never liked being licked on my nipples. I can give them to my partner. I didn't know it was a thing, but it's a fun way to get things started. And first timer, and yes, my partner has. Awesome. Well, I will say that for me, I knew theoretically, this was back when I was just a researcher. So some of y'all don't know that before I was on YouTube and before I was a coach, I was a professional sexual health researcher. I was actually working on getting my doctorate in public health. And I left that to start what became my coaching company and the YouTube channel that we're on right now as a result of me leaving my doctorate because I wanted to help be in more communication with, I wanted to like actually help people in a one-on-one way. Publishing papers in academia is great, but most of the people who ever read your research are also academics. And I wanted to actually talk to like the people who were having sex out in the world. So I had just recently left academia and I was dating someone new and we went to a wedding together and I had a little bit too much to drink. At the time, I didn't really enjoy going to weddings and I was definitely relying on alcohol as like a social lubricant. And we went back to a hotel. That's right. We went back to our hotel after this wedding, and he was stimulating my nipples in such a way that I had my first ever nipple orgasm. And like, as the young sex nerd that I was, and the sex nerd who I still am, I was completely shocked. Like, I didn't really know that this was possible for me or for my body. But of course, like, the whole thing was pretty blurry because I had been drinking. And I wasn't able to replicate that experience for a while, but I was really curious because I wanted to be able to do it like without alcohol and I wanted to be able to do it on command. But it took a long time for me to figure out the recipe in order to create that experience. And I'm curious, like for those of you who are on here who are saying that you or your partner, you've caused her to have a nipple orgasm, like what are your tips? What are your advice? I'd love to see that in the chat that helps you to create that nipple orgasm with your partner. Obviously, not all partners are the same. Not all nipples are the same. Even left and right, they're not the same. So some folks, some women are going to be like really inclined to have a nipple orgasm. It's going to be very easy for them. Their body's just wired that way. And for some of us, it can be a little bit too intense to have our nipples stimulated at all. So we might be like too sensitive to even have a nipple orgasm. But I like to think that probably most people are somewhere in the middle where nipple orgasms are possible, but they might not be easy for us to get to. Does that make sense? Yes, Simon, this is without penetration. This is strictly just stimulating the nipples. Now, interestingly enough, what you bring up is that the nipples and the clitoris do share they do share part of our nervous system. They are wired together, right? Literally, but they are also like subjectively very wired together. They're connected to each other. From a woman's perspective, I can say that there are times where if I am aroused and turned on, I can feel sensation in my nipples in my clitoris. Like it feels like they're one and the same. Like there's a direct line between them. And in doing more research on women who have nipple orgasms and have them easily, I know that I'm not the only one who experiences that sort of direct line. It can almost feel a little bit like a triangle. By the way, are you all able to hear me? Okay, and I'm like moving back and forth around this microphone. Hopefully it's picking up everything. Okay, getting caught up on these comments here. Just great, thank you. Married for 27 years. My wife can come from me just licking or touching hers. Amazing. 555. Great. Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Carrie and Brad and Jay. Great. So I'm curious, like, what other questions do you have about nipple orgasms? Like, ever since we launched the course, we got all kinds of really good questions from people who were checking out the course, buying the course. They wanted to know if it was for them. So, one of the first questions that came in was, my wife has had a mastectomy from breast cancer. Can she still have a nipple orgasm? Or we had a couple of people ask, like, what about men's nipples? I'm curious on here. There's over 200 people on here. I guarantee almost all of them are men. Have you ever experienced an orgasm in your nipples? It makes me think of that line in Meet the Parents with Ben Stiller, where they're having dinner, and Robert De Niro is grilling Ben Stiller on the story that he's like obviously making up about milking a cat. And he's like, yeah, you can milk anything with nipples. And he goes, I've got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? It's so great. Hi, and if you're a woman on this, yes, there are definitely women on the screen. Thank you. And there was another woman who chimed in earlier, Gabby. It just so happens that the majority of the people who show up on my YouTube streams and watch my YouTube videos are men. So I'm really happy that there are women here. Thank you for being here. I'm very grateful that you're here. And Darcy too. Hi, who else here is a woman? This is so exciting. And as a woman, how did you hear about my channel? Did you find it yourself? Did YouTube recommend it? Did a man in your life find it? And one thing I always say is, like, yes, this channel is directed at men for the most part, my videos. Hi, Jade. For the most part, my videos. And Laura. Look at all the girls here. All the women. Welcome. I always say that this channel is directed at heterosexual men. So they're having sex with women. So all of the work that I do ultimately is for women, really. I mean, it's for men because it starts with the men who are watching it feeling confident and capable and knowing what they're doing and feeling like they are capable of understanding their own body, their own sexuality, and they're capable of understanding their partner's body or women's bodies. But then they take that information into bed with women. We've got Roxy and Julie and Kim and Darcy. Great. Thank you, Edward. Yeah, I would be curious to know from other folks who have experienced a breastgasm from slow, deep massage as opposed to a nipplegasm. And said, my husband listens to you, and so I decided to check it out. Well, welcome. Laura, how do I get a guy to follow me? Are you asking like for yourself and your own content? And Farhan, hi. I gave my partner a nipplegasm by accident back in college. Almost 30 years later, we hooked back up and I couldn't give her another one, although she still loved the attention there. Luke, you make a great point, which is that so much of someone's ability to experience an orgasm, like any orgasm, clitoral orgasm, G-spot orgasm, but especially the nipple orgasm, is the context. And I mean that in every single way. The context of the relationship, where y'all are actually having sex. Like, does she feel safe? Does she feel comfortable? Is she worried that someone's going to open the door or hear her or whatever? And then the biochemical context of her body. Like, for me, it's so much easier to have a nipple orgasm around the time that I'm ovulating. Part of that is just due to sensitivity. During menstruation, if you're with a woman who's menstruating, I find that my body is very, very sensitive, almost too sensitive to that kind of stimulation. It's really difficult. It might feel good, but it's difficult to experience the amount of like buildup that is necessary to push over the edge and go into orgasm territory. around ovulation, some women's bodies are very, very sensitive. Mine happens to be a little less sensitive. And so I can apply a lot more pressure and a lot more stimulation without feeling the like, that's too much sensation that kind of moves us away from orgasm. Thank you, Robert. We used a flower on her and she had one from that. All comes to her feeling comfortable with. She said, yeah. So again, coming back to the context, right? Maybe the use of a flower at that time was so exciting and so energizing, and the connection was so good that all of that contributed to the ease with which she's able to have a nipple orgasm. Maybe she's very energetically sensitive. Maybe, maybe the very, very light touch that you can achieve with a flower in combination with her sensitivity was enough to throw her over the edge and give her that nipple orgasm. Girls and guys alike, just a question. Sex is mostly practice, a skill, but how do I know someone's sex style? I just had the most awkward sex because she was just doing too much and I wanted something more relaxed. Great question, Knight. Longtime listeners of this channel will know that this really comes down to communicating. You can't just pick up, especially in a first-time encounter, what someone's style is going to be, and in this instance, she showed you what her style was, and her style was doing the most, right? But the best way to have great sex, especially in a first-time encounter, other than like taking it slow and being really intentional about what you're doing with this other person, is to engage them in a conversation about what works for them. What kind of sex do you like to have? Like really slow, connected, energetic, emotional sex? Or do you like, firm, deep penetration, pounding, a lot of intensity? If you watched my content on the erotic blueprints, you could use that language. Like, I'm more of a kinky sexual versus I'm more of an energetic sensual. What does that mean for us as individuals? What do you mean when you say that, right? So like, even if you're not using the language of the erotic blueprints, like you said you want something more relaxed. What does that mean? Does that mean like spooning side by side, nobody's breaking a sweat? Does that mean a lot of eye contact? Does that mean a lot of foreplay? Does that mean a lot of massage? Does that mean getting out the massage oil candles and drizzling that and rubbing each other down? Like, I'm actually curious. Nate, tell me more about what you mean. Because the better we can put into words what we desire from sex from a partner, usually the more able they are to meet us there. And it can be really awkward, like you pointed out, when you're having sex with someone and your styles don't align, but you're already there. It's really difficult to pull back and say, okay, great. Now that we've realized that maybe we have two different ways of doing things, let's talk so that we can figure out where we can meet in the middle. Sometimes when things are already hot and heavy, it's like it can be very difficult to hit the pause button and roll it back and have a nuanced conversation because we're turned on. It's not the best time for us to communicate because that part of our brain isn't that functional at that moment if we are really aroused. East Coast of Canada. Lando, I love Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski, one of my favorite books. You will understand more about women's sexuality and orgasm and obstacles to great sex and pleasure from that book than possibly anywhere else. All I did was take a drink. Hand things. Hi, Greg. Hi, Justin. What role does mental and emotional arousal play in experiencing a nipplegasm? Really, really good question, Farhan. So just like with all sexual encounters, it's going to vary a little bit person to person, but all of us need to be engaged a little bit mentally and a little bit emotionally. And I don't mean you need to be having sex with someone that you love. I just mean for great sex to occur, all of our systems have to be turned on, aligned, and into it, right? Our mind, our thoughts, the words that are actually rolling through our head have to be engaged in some capacity. Our emotional body, so the way that we feel, like we feel relatively open, we feel happy, we feel safe, we feel satisfied, we feel connected. Our emotional body needs to be invested and included in the picture. And then our physical body, of course, our genitals and our other arousal systems, right? And then we could get even deeper into that, like our biochemistry, our hormones, our neurotransmitters. Like really great sex is the result of all of these systems working together, right? I would say that I can't answer for anyone else, but for me, being emotionally attuned with my partner and being mentally invested in what's going on without being overly focused on it, because the mind can get too tuned into something, right? The mind can be so focused on something that we actually sort of stop the body from being able to experience it fully because our mind is what's really engaged, right? And then maybe we're being too analytical, we're thinking about what's going on, but they need to be engaged in one way or another. Here's an example. My mind is thinking, wow, this is so hot. I can't believe this is happening. My emotional body is like, I feel safe and open and curious and playful. My physical body is able to get in line with both of those and experience arousal, but not always. Like we were talking about in the book by Emily Nagoski, she talks about arousal non-concordance, where your mind can be really turned on, but your body isn't. Or your body's really turned on, but your brain and your mind isn't. You're not really that interested in sex in the moment. So they're not always going to work exactly in perfect sync with each other. But the more sync that you have, I think the higher chance of having a nipple orgasm, the higher chance of having any kind of orgasm. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. You've changed my wife and my relationship 100% for the better. Thank you, Derek. Brad, that's how we find you. David, I like to have physical, emotional, spiritual, mental relationship with a woman. Very much enjoy seeing a lot of super awesome face expressions in her eyes. Yeah, eye contact. You really helped out my girlfriend, made our sex life so much better. Thank you for your advice. You're amazing. Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much for being here. Travis said, flowers, dates, romance, nothing seems to matter. Luke, which course are you talking about? You said my course really helped me. Much appreciation to you. So yeah, as I started by saying at the beginning of this live stream, I just brought out a mini course on nipplegasms where I actually work with 2 live models. And these 2 women very, very generously agreed to come on and let me give them a breast massage. So I demo all the breast massage techniques and then go for nipple orgasms. And the cool thing about these 2 models is that one of them very, very sensitive nipples, like so much so that they were very difficult to touch. The other one had very sensitive nipples, but I was able to actually bring her to a nipple orgasm through the techniques that I demonstrated. There is a link in the description of this video if you want to check out that course or any of my other courses. They're all on my website. The nipple orgasm course, mini course, is linked in this video. And of course, with all of my courses, and this is really important for you to know, they all come with a 90-day money back guarantee. Every single course that I sell comes with a 90-day money back guarantee because I want you to be able to go and try it. Like, don't take my word for it, like actually test it out in your own bedroom and see if it works. And I want you to have at least 90 days to do that because we all know, we're all adults here, right? Things can get in the way. You might need to try it multiple times. Maybe you go to give her a breast massage and nipple orgasm and she's menstruating, or she had a super stressful day at work, or, your kid wakes up and starts crying in their room. And, these things happen I wish we all lived in a world where we could just spend all of the time and have all of the space to enjoy all of the sex and pleasure humanly possible. That is certainly my wish for all of us, but it is not always reasonable. So we give you 90 days to go test it out, try it out, see if it really does work for you. And if it doesn't, no problem. Just pop us off an email. You don't even have to explain. Some people go try to explain like, I already whatever. It's fine. You don't have to even give us an explanation. You want your money back? Not a problem. Okay. What other, or is anyone else here taking the course yet? Have you watched the mini course? Let's see what else we've got. Oh, Pixie. Pixie says, I'm over 50, married over 20 years. I just want to tell you, you've changed my life. I'm in tears with gratitude. Thank you. I'd love for you to tell me what I did or how or what information it was that changed your life. I love hearing that. And I'm here to answer any other questions that you all have. We don't have to just talk about nipple orgasms. They're just really on my mind recently. Thank you, Wilhelmus. Transformed our sex life, says Pixie. Well, happy to have been involved. Great. What other questions do you all have? We're here live. I was going to hang out with you for a little bit longer. I'm just sitting here drinking sparkling water. Done with my emails for the day. Thought I'd come on and hang out with you. Talk about nipple orgasms. Talk about whatever it is that you want. Hey, while you're here, if you're enjoying this and you want me to do more, will you give this video a thumbs up? It helps other yeah, exactly like that. It helps other people to find it. It supports my channel and the algorithm. It lets YouTube know that you want to be notified when I do go live. If any of you are here and you're not subscribed, or you're subscribed but you don't have notifications turned on, you can go to my channel and click the little bell. That way YouTube will know that you want to know when I'm doing a live video. Also, as an aside, I posted a video yesterday on Tuesday morning about butthole sunning, and y'all did not like it. I will say I have never I thought, I mean, whether you like butthole sunning or not, took a lot of flack in the comments for that video. I don't know if y'all saw it or what. If you were the people that didn't like it, you're probably not here today. But oh man, a lot of people are not into butthole sunning. I'm curious, like, as an aside, has anyone here sunned your butthole? You loved it. Thank you, Beza. I love butthole sunning. And you know what? It's my fault probably because I started the video by saying like I don't have any scientific evidence to back this up, because the evidence to support butthole sunning is very speculative. I don't know that any of it's really that scientifically validated. But here's the thing. I am through and through a subscriber to hedonism, which means that which feels good is good. And I mean that like I don't mean that hedonism in the sense of like the swingers resort in Jamaica. I just mean like what qualities am I looking for in something? How am I gauging whether or not something is good and useful and vital and something that I want to incorporate in my life or have more of or see more of in the world? And when I thought about butthole sunning, when I tried it years ago, and I've been doing it for a very long time now, the place that I live now doesn't have a great place to do it. But when I had like a big outdoor patio that was very private, I did this all the time. I'd take like a little break from work and go stick my butt in the air and gather some sunshine. I did it recently at Burning Man. Like I enjoy butthole sunning, and I was just so shocked by how apparently triggering that was for some folks. We don't have to focus on this anymore. You're here, but if you haven't tried it, I would just recommend just try it. Just try it. The next time there's like sunlight coming in a window in your home, just like 5 minutes. What have you got to lose? Literally nothing. Don't stay out there for too long and get sunburned. I saw someone say that in the comments. Greg said, you've done a few videos on yoni massage. Do you have any tips on perineum massage, often recommended for late pregnancy? I don't, but there are plenty of great resources out there. And the reason that I don't is just like with all things related to pregnancy, if you're not an expert, you probably shouldn't give advice on it. And I'm not an expert on perineal massage. I'm not an expert on massage that prepares for pregnancy. I don't have children myself, but trust me, if I was planning on delivering a child, I would 100% be insisting on getting perineal and yoni massages as frequently as possible, as long as my doctors signed off on the safety and were supportive of that. I would be getting those all of the time to prepare for giving birth. So Greg, I apologize. I don't have a great resource for you, but please do look online, do look locally, see if there are other sex educators or doulas or midwives or other folks out there that can provide feedback and insight on the process, because I have heard nothing but good things about perineal massages leading up to vaginal delivery. Okay, Keith says, hello from Utah. Recently, while my fiance and I were having sex, she got a severe headache, stopped her in her tracks. She stayed for about an hour. She got an MRI today. Yes, actually, I have heard of this. I had a friend many years ago going back like almost a decade now. She would get a migraine whenever she had an orgasm. I don't know if she ever got an official diagnosis on what was going on. I'm so sorry that your fiance and you are dealing with that. It's obviously so scary because this is supposed to be the most pleasurable moment, like this peak of ecstatic pleasure and connection and excitement. So for it to turn into a headache, or in my friend's case, a migraine, obviously really scary and uncomfortable and painful. All of which is to say that yes, it can happen. It does happen. I have heard of it happening. People close to me have experienced it. I think there are potentially multiple reasons that could happen. So I'm not going to speculate as to what happened, but I do hope that the MRI went well and that she gets some form of information from the results of that. I keep triggering the things. Sorry. What else have we got here? I didn't watch the video. Not my thing. Yeah, well, totally understood. Butthole setting doesn't have to be for everybody, but I do recommend it. I have some of my clients try it and they love it. My one-on-one coaching clients are always like, that's silly. And then they're like, that was great. I don't think I've ever had sun in the back of my balls. I'm like, yeah. Why not? Life is short. Have fun, you know? Okay. Oh, there's a lot of comments here. I need to catch up. Okay. Thank you. Did help us with our sex life. Thank you so much. Please keep doing this. You're so welcome. Thank you, Brad. Pixie feels great everywhere. I agree. Just coming from the Oktoberfest, my friend is vomiting. Meanwhile, I'm watching you live. It's so funny. Thank you. I hope your friend is okay. I love that you're taking care of yourself and joining us live while your friend is dealing with that. And hopefully you'll go check on them sporadically. And you are so welcome. Oh, thank you, Rich. I'm glad that you liked it. You bought the Nipplegasm course and another course, the anal massage, it seems like maybe. Maybe there's an autocorrect in there. This is and course. Guys may hate butthole everything because of annual prostate. Oh, you make a good point, John. Do you think it is that men are against sunning their buttholes because they just generally don't want to have anything to do with their buttholes? Is that why? Genuinely, I'm asking. Please let me know why you think the butthole sunning wasn't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a byproduct of the people who I hang out with, but I feel like maybe 6 out of 10 people I've ever talked to about this are like, yes, butthole sunning, or at least are willing to try it. Love the chats. I'm naturally a lot shyer than anyone would think. I find the way you openly discuss sex and pleasure inspirational. Thank you. I think that is my gift. And that was the Sexual Health Magazine article that I was sharing with you all earlier. They say like Caitlin V is like the friend that you would like to talk to about sex. And that is very much the truth. The friend who is also a former professional sexual health scientist who you can talk to about anything. Got some sun today. Absolutely enjoyed it. Yes, Gabe. Yes, Gabe. You are right. The sensation feels so nice and warm. I feel really good after shining light where the sun don't shine. Vilhelma said, I'd like to thank you. My ex-wife was a total prude when it came to anything sexual. Watching your content has been so freeing from feeling bad about sex. And yes, I gave my butthole sun. Yes, my man. Thank you. Nude sun tanning in general is so liberating. Can confirm. Feels amazing. Yes. Perineum massage is great for both sexes outside of pregnancy. Yes, hard agree. Absolutely agree. You do not have to have something like yay big leaving your body to massage any muscle in that area, or to just give your body like love and support. And you can do perineal massage on yourself, but it is so much fun to invite a friend to do it with you. Oh my God, Farhan, you tried my... Last Tuesday, I put out a video on one of my all-time favorite kinky things to do, which is like, I don't know, in the comments, people were like, it was kind of kinky. It's not that kinky. I thought it could be kinkier, which is human strawing, which is taking a sip of water and dropping it, spitting it, pushing it, splashing it into your partner's mouth. I love doing this. When I said it initially, I was on the set of Dr. Tara's Love Bites podcast. And the all of the support in the room, all of the assistants and the people that were filming and all that were shocked, like audibly gasped in the middle of this podcast recording. And so I was like, well, is this kinky? I didn't realize it was kinky. So I made the YouTube video about it. And then people on YouTube were like, that's not even that kinky. So it's all relative, right? So what is kinky is very subjective. Epicureanism. Yes. My thoughts on hedonistic pleasure. Okay. Yoni massage was transformative, says Pixie. Oh, Laura, say more on that. Hedonism is Epicureanism without responsibility. Oh, so maybe, did I have it wrong? Is it Epicureanism? I think people are more familiar with the term hedonism. Johnny Thunder, what are the erogenous zones in a woman? That's what I searched for on YouTube and how I found your channel a long time ago. And ever since then, you have gifted me with lots of powerful knowledge about sex. Thank you. I feel so acknowledged by everybody. Sunburn balls, scary. Yes, thank you. And you're welcome, Keith. I wish the best. Please come and give me an update sometime in a YouTube comment. I do read them all. Edward says, yes. One of the many reasons that you could be getting a headache around orgasm could be related to blood pressure. But that would be a very good reason to get checked out by a healthcare provider. Murray says, I personally hadn't considered sending my bum. You know why? We have a joke. What is the first thing that people say about, it's in the United States, at least in North America? It's where the sun don't shine, right? I mean, literally, it is known to and referred to as a place where we do not allow sunlight. But why not? You know, we have nerve endings and we are wired for pleasure, and not just that, we're wired for sun. Now it is October. It's officially October. We're headed to a time where there's not going to be that much sun up here in the Northern Hemisphere, up in North America. Now's a great time to catch as much sun as humanly possible all over your body, including your bum. And that's okay if you don't want to. This is a consent-based practice. Okay, all right, let's see what else we got here. How do I tell if I'm being too clingy with my girlfriend? Not sure if I'm overthinking this. She seems a bit distant here lately, and I'm not sure if it's just me or just normal emotional stuff. Well, Redacted, I would say do some research on attachment styles. Anxious attachers, who are also known as preoccupied attachers, can be experienced by their partners as clingy because they can get anxious around securing the connection. They can feel very insecure in their connection with another person, and they can be in a position where they're like always thinking about it. That's where the preoccupied term comes in, stressing about it, like wanting to secure it, wanting validation, wanting to be told that like they're safe and the relationship is secure and they're loved and all of that. And then there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but it is something that can drive partners away, even if those partners have secure attachment, but especially if those partners have what's known as avoidant attachment, which is someone who is prone to withdrawing with too much closeness. Too much closeness, too much connectivity can make them feel stifled, can make them feel trapped. And so they will sometimes want to create more distance between them and another person. If your partner, your girlfriend has avoidant attachment and you have anxious attachment, you may be stuck in this sort of very common, I've been in it myself a number of times, dynamic where one person is always going towards and the other person is going away from. Now, does that mean you're too clingy? No, not at all. One person's clinginess is another person's like love language, right? Some people want to be clung to and held closely, and they want to cling and hold closely to their partners. There's no wrong way to be in a relationship. But certainly if you have gone beyond what feels healthy for you and what is healthy for her and what is healthy for y'all's partnership, then you may want to look at yourself and your own sort of like way of seeing the world, your default settings, the thoughts that you think, the emotions that you feel, and ask, am I feeling insecure in this relationship because that is a legitimate response to the dynamic that we're in? Like maybe she doesn't tell me that she loves me and wants to be with me and we're not able to plan a future together, or she does things to try to make me jealous, or she flirts with other people in front of me and therefore I really do feel insecure. She doesn't answer my calls or tell me where she is. Like those are reasons, legitimate reasons to feel insecure in a relationship. But if things are healthy and the dynamic between the two of you is supportive of both of you, but you still feel yourself wanting to cling, feeling preoccupied, wanting to like make sure that the relationship is secure, needing a lot of reassurance, or never wanting to give her space when she needs it, just like a normal, healthy, average human being does, then you may be dealing with anxious attachment. You may be quote unquote clingy, and that might be something for you to look at. You may want to seek therapy or coaching, or at least read some books on attachment styles and see if that checks out for you, if that describes your situation, and if it's something that maybe you want to do something about. More on nude sunbathing, sharing a drink, having your partner go down on you after they drank something cold or had some like ice cubes in their mouth. Yeah. John Finkler writing riddles. I started watching in order to reconnect with my wife, and it totally worked. Thank you, Johnny. I love hearing that. That's why we do it. It has made my sex life a lot more enjoyable for me and my wife. Thank you, Travis. Maybe I should get her to watch your videos. I've seen most of them. Love your content. Thank you, Travis. I do think that sharing my content with your partner, whether it's my YouTube videos, a course, or my Good Sex show on HBO, on HBO Max and Discovery Plus, I think that at a minimum, watching some of my content together is a great place to spark a conversation, right? Because you might watch it and download that information and try it on your wife. But if she watches it, then the two of you can have a communication around what works, what doesn't work, what she likes, what she doesn't like, where she agrees with me, where her experience is different, because often I'm describing like what it is like from my experience, but I can't speak on behalf of all women. So yes, I think watching my content with a partner, with a spouse, is a great place to deepen your connection, to gather new ideas, to like really figure out what pieces could be additive to your relationship, and like from a perspective of like, how do we communicate about these things? Like, what more can we add that allows us to have more nuanced communication around these things? Okay, let me get through some more of these comments. If you have any other questions, now's a great time to submit them. Sunny Crockett. She said, "How do you know to do this?" And I said, "I just pay attention, baby. That's all." I love it. My girlfriend experiences what she calls a brain freeze during intense orgasms. The pain goes away once she comes down. She tends to hold her breath at the peak. Yeah, I was going to say, Jim, that sounds a little bit like, potentially, again, I'm just guessing, that she's building up a lot of pressure inside of her body. If she's like squeezing down and she's bearing down and she's holding her breath and she's maybe even like gritting her teeth and all these things, right? Like she's like trying really hard to get to orgasm. That can be pretty strenuous on the body. And can lead to things like brain freeze. And I'm just guessing, Jim, feel free if you're still here to like give me a little bit more information about what happens, like how she gets to orgasm, what is happening just before she reaches orgasm. But I would remind her and you that you can reach orgasm without that level of intensity. You can get to the point of orgasm from a relaxed state, and it may take a little bit longer because it's going to be unfamiliar. She doesn't have a lot of experience getting there that way, but it is worth trying. Especially if she's having these unpleasant experiences, to see if she can get her body to orgasm without that, and what that experience is like. And if she still deals with the brain freeze or whatever unpleasant or uncomfortable sensation afterward, then maybe also go get checked out by a physician or healthcare provider. Hi, Caitlin, just popped in to say hello. It's my bedtime. Thank you, YTK. Any tips for secure attached dismissive attachment? So one of the two forms of avoidant attachment is dismissive avoidant. And these folks tend to dismiss their need for emotional connection at all. So they might be like, I don't really need other people. I don't really want to engage. That's not really important to me. But they may also send you mixed signals where like they also love you and they want to be in a relationship with you and they like hold you closer to you, but at the same time they're like, this is unimportant and I don't need it. Do I have any tips for that, Mike? Oh, you say that it's secure attached and a dismissive attached. I'm curious, like, which one of you is the secure attacher? How do you know that you're a secure attacher? And what's drawn you to be in a relationship with someone who has this dismissive avoidant attachment? How is it showing up? What are the negative impacts? I say that, what can I say on this very generally, since I don't have all the information to really speak to it? There is a lot of great content coming out on YouTube right now, from a variety of therapists and counselors that are making really good content on on attachment styles. Jimmy on relationships, I think, is one that I've really been following and enjoying. Nicole LaPera who wrote the book How to Do the Work, I think has some really great YouTube shorts that kind of will break down some of the concepts around attachment style. So I would say like start there. Um, let the partner know the impact of their actions on you, but not from a place of like blame, because that, for a dismissive avoidant or any avoidant attacher is going to like push them further away. But you do need to have a clear conversation about your needs, your wants, your boundaries, what isn't working for you in the relationship, but not from a place of like, I need more and you need to do better and all that, because that again will drive them away. But from a place of like, my needs are not being met, or I feel like I'm unimportant to you, or when you withdraw from me, that really causes me discomfort. How can we figure out ways for you to come closer to me without feeling squashed or stifled? Hmm. Michelangelo, that's a great name. Said, not sure if this is covered. My wife used to have orgasms through breast and nipple play, but since having our child, she says it gives her weird cringe feelings. It's been 2 years now. I'm so glad that you asked this question. Let's try to land on this question. It is true that the experience of being pregnant, giving birth, and especially breastfeeding changes the way that many women experience their nipples. It sounds like for your wife, maybe it's made her a lot more sensitive. And just like with any other part of the body, when we're very sensitive and then we start getting a lot of sensation on that part of our body, it can feel very overwhelming, or as you described it, like a cringe feeling. I would say, are there ways to work with her level of sensitivity that can reintroduce sensation on her nipples as pleasurable instead of cringy? So, for example, maybe feeling them over a bra or under a bra or under a t-shirt. So, like touching over a couple layers of fabric, that's going to decrease the amount of sensation that's being transferred directly to the nipple. Using Someone here earlier was talking about using a flower, using just like the petals of a flower. If you're going to listen, flowers are grown with a lot of pesticides. If you're going to do any sort of sexy play or bath with flowers, I highly recommend that you get flowers that are as close to organically grown as humanly possible. It can be really difficult to get those, especially depending on where you are in the country. They can be very expensive. But I have had negative experiences myself with like touching a flower to my lips and having my lips go numb because they're grown with chemicals on them. So anyways, just things to consider. But like touching a flower to her nipples, just breathing on just like things that you could incorporate that are like just barely providing any sort of sensation to her ultra sensitive nipples, and seeing if those cause the cringe feeling. And if that works, just stick to that for a while until her body is ready to receive any more stimulation. It could be weeks, it could be days, it could be hours, it could be months. I don't know for her individual body. But what essentially we need to do is have the nerve endings read sensation as pleasure again. Right now, they're reading them as cringe, as too much, as like, get it away from me. But, as is a phenomenal rule when it comes to sex across the board, do less, move slower, use lighter pressure, and see what that gets you. Okay, a couple more questions. Is it true most women prefer not to go down on a man? I don't think that's true. I think women enjoy oral sex probably at the same rate that men do. They like to give it and receive it. And of course, your individual results may vary. Jim. Oh, got it. Yes, brain freeze. He said, even though they're painful when they happen, they're a great release, and she feels a sense of calm afterward. Well, I would like for her to be able to have orgasms without any amount of pain. Pixie says, oh my goodness, I experienced this as well during and after breastfeeding. I had no idea anyone else did. Thank you for normalizing this. Yeah, this is why these live streams are so great. Thank you, Bahamas. Okay. How about feathers? Feathers, great example. Feathers, like those really, really like faux fur mitts, even like chamois cloths, like really soft, clean cloths can be really nice. But feathers, great example. I think of some examples of really cool temperatures might also be good too, like metal things that are a little bit numbing because of they can be cold. Ice cubes even can sometimes having your nipples like touched or pinched can cause cringe feeling, but an ice cube is a very different sensation, and it can actually decrease the amount of sensation, even as it causes the nipple to get more erect and therefore can increase sensation in different parts of the body. But having cold applied obviously decreases sensation as well. Makeup brush. Great. I just bought a makeup brush that vibrates from Japan. Great. Please, I would love an update redacted. David, I made a whole video on how to enjoy giving blowjobs. It came out like within the last couple months. Greg says, it's like the old joke. It's a joke. It's erotic when you use a feather. It's kinky when you use the whole chicken. Brings me back to that great John Waters film. All right, let's leave it there. It was a pleasure. Give this live stream a thumbs up again if you enjoyed it. If you would like me to do more, I got the vibrating brush in Japan. I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't. But they do make it in the United States. You can Google vibrating makeup brush. Great sex toy. Thank you for reminding me that I got that. I will be pulling that out. It was a joy to be here with you. Thank you. I love you all so much. I get so much joy out of being here with you and getting to hear how my content has helped improve your sex lives. That's why we're out here doing it. Mwah! I hope you have great evenings. I hope you have many, or facilitate many nipple orgasms. Let me know how it goes. Bye-bye.